I would now like to invite our CEO, Colonel Gopal Karnakaran, CEO of Shivnada Schools, to take the session forward.
Good morning, parents of Shivnada School, Chennai. It's an absolute privilege to be here. I'd like to start by mentioning that while you've had probably a few, maybe multiple interactions with the school team, with the principal, and been to the site where we have an experience center, this is actually our first formal meeting with you together as a collective. The purpose of this session, which we do every year at each of our schools, typically in October of the previous year, is to welcome you all to the Shivnada Foundation. So that's the first thing I'd like to share with you. You're hopefully proud members of the Shivnada Foundation. Therefore, I think it's also important to know what the foundation does. I'd like to also start by saying that we do not have these orientations at the Leela every year. Just in case you tell your friends that, this orientation happens, so let me tell you as to why we are having this here. One is obviously the school site is not yet ready, but there's a little story within that. How many of you, if you don't mind, raise your hands, who were present at the school launch event? Okay, so all of you were there for the school launch event. So what happened is, considering the weather at Chennai and the possibility of rain, we booked Leela for that event. And Shikhar and Roshni said, listen, it's a fantastic site. It's got trees. It's where the school's going to be. We're going to do it there. We paid money to Leela. They refused to refund. So that's why we are here today. So we're going to make use of this money that we have spent. So this orientation actually happens every October in each of our schools. As soon as our new parents join, we welcome you to the foundation. We let you know about what the foundation does. Because once you're part of the Shivnada schools, people will ask you about the Shivnada University, about the Vidyagyan schools, and Siksha, Kiran Nada Museum of Art. These are all parts of the foundation. And I'm sure you are now aware that the Shivnada Foundation and Mr. Shivnada is the largest philanthropist in India. Most of the money which is spent, nearly all of the money of the foundation, which is now, as of now, $1.1 billion, has been spent in education. And therefore, and it's not part of HCL, it's not HCL Foundation, which is a different foundation. This is Mr. Nada's personal wealth, which is in the Shivnada Foundation. So it's my privilege to run you through this. As I go through, firstly, a quick introduction of the many institutions in the foundation. I'll follow this up with a video. We will have an opportunity to hear Mr. Nada himself. Some of you may have seen this video. And since I'm quintessentially a teacher, I will quiz you after this. So be prepared. So pay attention. So the Shivnada Foundation, interestingly, anyone guesses which is the oldest of the institutions of the Shivnada Foundation? You can just go for it. So the oldest, for us, it's a privilege also that it is in Chennai. It is SSN. It is 1995. And when we came here 5 years ago, Shikhar and I, to figure Chennai as a possible school location, we realized that the calling card in Chennai was definitely not Shivnada Foundation. It was not even HCL. It was SSN. So SSN is so well known in Chennai that it was easy to gain access to even schools in Chennai. Two strangers could walk in by saying we are from SSN and the foundation. So SSN started in 1995. On the SSN campus, we now have the Shivnada University South, right, which has started. They have 2,000 students. They have some cutting-edge programs which are happening. It's a 300-acre campus. And after 1995, all the other institutions of Shivnada Foundation started around 2010. So actually, every single year, one institution came up around that time. 2009 was Vidya Gyan, which is probably our dearest to our heart. It's certainly dearest to Mr. Nada's heart, because children from the most underprivileged sections of society join class 6, get free education, a wonderful residential campus, 2 campuses, both, one close to Delhi in Bulandshahr, the other one at Sitapur, where in 6 to 7 years of free education or top quality education, we've got children in Stanford, Yale, All India Institute of Medical Science, IITs. It's just the power of education. And these are called leadership academies. So that's Vidya Gyan, these 2 campuses, where 300,000 students appear when they're 10 years old for an entrance test where about 150 students get in. It's an incredible institution. So that's Vidya Gyan. Soon after was Shiv Nada University North, which is again off Delhi. There are 4 schools there, School of Engineering, School of Humanities, School of Natural Science, and a management school. It's interdisciplinary, it's a 4-year undergrad program, and many students from all across India are there. I had the privilege of being president of Shiv Nada University for 3 years, along with my role here at Shiv Nada School. So it's a terrific, modern university, which is one of the 2 private institutions of eminence recognized by the government of India. So out of all the institutions of eminence, which are only now 8, rest are all like the Indian Institute of Science. These are the 2 private universities. So one of them is the Shiv Nada University. It's called the Institute of Eminence. It's a 4-year undergrad program, and there are some postgrad programs, and of course PhD students. The Shiv Nada School was born in 2012 with schools in Noida and Gurgaon. Shiv Nada School Faridabad came in 2015, and now is the time for Shiv Nada School Chennai. Kiran Nada Museum of Art is India's first public museum of a private collection of art, which is in North India, which is in Delhi. And there's a huge museum which is coming up now in 2025, which is an expanded version. It's going to be a cultural center. Siksha is this large mass-scale intervention in government schools to improve government schooling. They touch about 200,000 students, 1,500 schools. And there's also an adult literacy program. They actually work in jails for education of inmates in jails. So that's the whole story. We will now see a short video, a 3-minute video on exactly what I've spoken. But you'll start with hearing Mr. Nada himself in this short clip.
Shiv Nada Foundation began its life in 1994. We created the foundation with the purpose of transforming the fabric, the social fabric, by creating leadership academies. While building the foundation, we kept the model of how we would operate, the values of integrity, the values of passion, the values of commitment, they all stay constant. What varies is whether we follow creative philanthropy or corrective philanthropy. What we are doing in the foundation are things which will stand well beyond the lives of the founder, way beyond the successes as well.
Quiz time. How many students at the Shivnada school? Okay, so I must confess there were conflicting figures here. The earlier slide, the film is a bit dated, but the last slide we corrected. So as of now, the Shivnada school, which you'll see, 3 campuses, and Ms. Banerjee will explain a little more, has 4,500 students in the 3 schools. So 2,000 Noida, Gurgaon, and did I say 45? 5,500, sorry, 5,500, 1,500 Faridabad. So this is the student strength that we have. Okay, so the Shivnada schools are currently here. As I said, Noida, Gurgaon, 2012, nearly 2,000 students each. All the principals did come down for the launch event. When you see this, Miss Wall, 2015, Faridabad school principal. We are still a very young institution because all of us are still here. And Mrs. Banerjee, who's going to speak to you now, is the Director of Education. She was the founder principal of the Noida school. Mrs. Kuti is the iconic preschool of Delhi, actually of India. It's called Magic Years. It's been on for 45 years. It's in Vasant Vihar. And there are 200 preschoolers who go there. It's become part of the foundation now. So Mrs. Kuti actually just handed over the keys to Mr. Nada, saying, only you can run my school. So that's how the Magic Years became part of the foundation. Actually, Shikhar and Roshni's children also did go to Magic Years. Of course, we have Chennai, which is the latest flagship. I thought I'll just tell you that construction's totally on time. 15th of May, the first phase, about 50,000 square feet, will be ready. We have a month before the time that your children will come to school. Because I just put this in slide today because I knew you were going to ask this question. So you might as well tell you, don't worry, because the biggest thing was getting the permissions. All permissions are in place. That took a long time, but they're in place. Construction's totally, this is not multi-story. So there's going to be these blocks connected to each other. So we're totally okay with what's happening here. The second question I think you would want to know is when are you finishing the entire school construction? First phase is this 40 to 50,000 now, this year. Next is another 150,000 by next year. And the last part, which is the last 2 lakh, is by next year, August. So in 3 years, 2 years. 2 years from now, 2 years and a few months from now, the entire school, 4 lakh square feet will be built. The foundations will spend about 300 crores just building the school. The school land is on lease from the Theosophical Society, which you know it's for 46 years. So your children will comfortably pass out. Your grandchildren may pass out. So don't worry. Okay, so that's the school. Before I hand over to Mrs. Banerjee for explaining our school and the programs that we do, this is one of my favorite parts which I love to do, which is quiz. What is that one quality that you would really worry if your child does not have in the 0 to 10 years? I can come down. Okay, so I didn't get a chance to play around with this. Did you also say curiosity somewhere? Curiosity, yeah. So the one thing which we'll be always concerned, obviously you want the child to be physically fit and healthy, but I think if the child is not curious, you'll be really worried. So why I'm bringing this up is this is the sort of stuff we do at school. Stoke curiosity. You'll see that the program that we run is around stoking curiosity at a young age. And my favorite class, which I love to do, right now, last 2 weeks, 2 classes, one in class 5 and one in class 6, is to introduce them to something called non-Googleable questions, which is not a personal question, which is like, what's my grandfather's name? Or a future question, who's going to win 2024 elections? Explain that to them. I say it's the question which everybody wants to know, but Google and therefore data science is not going to give you. Anyone wants to give a shot? Non-Googleable question? And I'll tell you what the 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds did as non-Googleable. What they feel? What they're feeling, yes, okay. Anything else, non-Googleable? Because in the age of AI and data science and now ChatGPT, this is increasingly very important. What is non-Googleable? Because that's what education should be about. That's what is deeply human. So I divided the class into 6, made them groups, explained to them and said, go work on this and come back to me. And you get 5 minutes. And then each one's answer, I put that on the board. And then I said, I've got all your answers. Now let's vote as a class as what you think is the most non-Googleable, relevant, and all of human beings want to know. And grade 6, Noida voted for what is the purpose of life. And the second was what happens in heaven and hell. So we stoke curiosity. You'll see that through everything that we do. Reading is very big at Shiv Nada School. It's, in a world where you think people are not reading, children are not reading, we're not reading, Shiv Nada School children are voracious readers. What do you think you'll worry about at 10 to 20, if your child is 10 to 20 and does not have this? Okay. You get chocolates only for my answers. I don't know if you have chocolates today, but yeah, I would think that's important. Yes? Okay, what do you think as a pre-teen, if you didn't have or your child doesn't have, you'll really worry about? Okay, I think, what? Pardon? Passion? Sportsmanship, okay. So, we think it's very important to have something you're really passionate about, something you're really interested in. Something is deeply you. It could be music, it could be theater, it could be football, it could be robotics. Because if you have that at that age, you will have a breeze in your teens and your preteens because you're obsessed with something and deeply interested. So a lot of our programs around this phase is this. And what do you think you'd be worried when your child, you're not thinking of it, but graduates and is about to leave school? What do you think you'd be worried about if the child doesn't have that quality? Empathy? Focus? Handling peer pressure? Confidence? Some interest, passion, we have finished. Aha, we will do that. We will make sure. So, when we look at our children who graduate, and you'll see a video of some of the alumni talking here, but what we deeply want our children to be, in spite of what we have in our vision, is this, which is they're comfortable in their own skin. They know who they are. They're saying, Mom, Dad, don't worry about me, I'm okay. I'll manage myself in college. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I'm okay. Right? And when we look at our graduating batch, that's what we want to see. Are they just comfortable who they are? Right? Have we get them to be mature enough to say, not only do I know my strengths, but I know what I'm not so great at. Right? So that's what we do. Now this one is for you, 30 to 40. What do you think you need to do? What's the big thing you have to figure in 30s and 40s? Some area of expertise? Go back to slide number 1. Probably, curiosity. Very true. So, in fact, I forget the name of the book, but what's the name of the book? The Grant book, which I shared with you yesterday. But I will tell you that, because I keep throwing books at people, so people to try and read, I'll tell you the name. But it's about just being the ability to learn and unlearn, and unlearn and learn. I think that's a very important quality as we move from the confident 20s into the 30s to start asking ourselves questions. So, yeah, maybe what to do with all the money you make. Think Again is the book, author. Adam Grant. So think again, Adam Grant. If you like to, you could pick it up. I will now hand over to Mrs. Banerjee, our Director of Education. I must also tell you the proudest privilege I have had at Shiv Nada School is not being the CEO, but being employee code 001. Okay, so I joined here in 2010, straight out of the army. It's been an absolute wonderful journey, and it's wonderful to also now do this terrific school in Chennai. Over to you. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite our CEO, Colonel Gopal, once again to the stage, who actually wears multiple hats. And he would like to keep down the hat of a CEO and wear another hat. So let's just see what he's going to say. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm not wearing the CEO's hat, right? So I'll put on this other hat. That's why I'm not going up. This happened when I became 60. The best part of being 60, some of your parents may be 60. Do you guess what's the best part of being 60? Anyone? Father's mother, pardon? What is that discount exactly? No, I'm talking about who you encounter like every day, whose father, mothers are 60, One thing definitely happens to us is that we really don't shy away from saying what we feel like. But you know something else? There's another part which is easier, which is for you, when you listen to a plus 60-year-old, there's something for you. You don't have to take the person seriously. You have to just act that you're seriously listening, okay? So this is that part. It's only a few minutes. I'm definitely not the CEO, so don't quote me on this. But, it already said so. It was supposed to GF talk, and you were supposed to guess what GF was. So this is the grandfather talk. There are only 4 words, acronyms here. You have to decipher these. This is about what you should be doing with the Shiv Nada school child who's in your home. It's quite simple, actually, which every mother and father want to do. So spend time with them. Do we have chocolates, by the way? Okay, here we go. So, I'll tell you one thing. Your child's never going to be 2, 3, 4 again. Right? So don't obsess. Don't fret. Just spend time with them. Who said that? You get 3. So please spend as much time as you can through your busy schedules and all the million making money things that we all have to do. But do spend time. They're never going to be that age. Every age is special. Right? So spend as much time with them. Oh, that didn't come. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyone? Someone did ask me last time, how do we build resilience? You're also concerned, are these all affluent children? So is that good? But there's a lot of stuff you can do. Who said that? Wow. I'm coming there. Please give them responsibilities all the time. Okay, please give them responsibilities. Here you are. I'll split it. Here you are. Who did? So, I don't know if you're doing it, but whether it's laying the dining table, putting water in the glasses, washing their dishes. In fact, to 10-year-olds in Shiv Nada school, I often tell them, I know that they won't listen by the time they're 13 or 14, so I start early, which is wash your own undergarments, wash your own plate, wash your own plate. My father taught me that. My mother taught me the undergarments bit, but it's stuff that you should be doing, right? So just give them small responsibilities. It's the first time 2 chocolates have gone, the first 2. Okay. This is a leadership principle. It applies to children too. Do you already get 1 chocolate? Praise in public, criticize in private. Even if you think that what your spouse is saying is right about the child, do not add to it. 2 of you don't gang up together on your child. Thank you. Please clap. I can't believe it, you got 3 out of 3. Praise in public, criticize in private is an essential principle of parenting. You want to discipline a child and explain, do not do it with another person, even the other spouse. Not needed. Do it yourself. It'll be understood. Otherwise, that little child is going to think you're ganging up. Most important, never fight in front of your children. Yeah, man, Chennai. Okay, so, I mean, these are all wonderful grandfather principles. As a parent, I'm not saying I did all that stuff, right? But I know at an older age that these are very important. Like Manmeen ma'am said, critically important age. Everything the child's going to be happens now as an adult. If you don't hug your child, if you don't touch your child enough, it will play out in later years, right? So these things are extremely important. You have a responsibility. I'm sharing this with you because you've got our Shiv Nada school child in your home. So follow these principles, okay? Thank you.
So if you remember, we had placed query cards inside your bags. Are there any questions that you would like us to address right now? Our teachers are around the aisle. They will come and collect the cards. You can hand it over to them, please.
And what I would like to add is, let the child in you come out to play. Let your child find you also to be fun people to be with. Very important.
So I have one card. Yeah. Someone's written an essay. All right. The first question says, it's a very interesting one. It says, in case if child finds difficulty in coping up with curriculum, how do you approach it?
Also having the special educators coming in to sensitize all of my teachers as to when is it that you can actually recognize that there is a need, and is it at a level where we ourselves can address within the class, and then we move on to the next level of whether there is a special assistance required. So we'll assess it as it comes, but we'll keep you posted. We will discuss with you. We'll work out something that is mutually beneficial. So no child will be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question, are sports included in the curriculum, and how will it be furthered if needed?
Okay, Kyle, where are you? That's favorite topic. I can finish an hour on this if you want. But you know, the fundamental point about sport at school for us is sport teaches you life's lessons which nothing else is going to teach you at a young age. You learn how to lose, you learn how to play by the rules. It's fantastic to have Kyle with us, who's actually an international rugby player, came into education, so it's fantastic to have him here. But, and we totally connect on, we're always fighting about trying to add this, remove some building and put some more sports areas. We're trying to do that in this big campus. But parents have also asked me, how do you teach resilience? Get them to play sport, competitive sport, right? It doesn't mean every child will play. It's okay. They may like music, they may like chemistry, but the opportunity to play sport and opportunity to play a competitive sport is going to be huge at Shiv Nada School. We spend a lot of time. There is something called preschool, there's something called after school. It's divided into two parts. One is for those who want to opt for it as a paid program. And from there, when the school teams get selected, then the school teams get 3 days to play. It's not a paid program, which means a child can play 6 days, preschool or after school. 3 is the paid one, and 3 is because you're part of a team. We've had huge controversy recently with under 8 mothers saying that your selection system is not fair. We thought it was a huge compliment for the football team mothers to start worrying about, I think it was under 6. I said, what's happening? This is football under 6? Like, I started when I was 8 or 9. So that's okay, right? We just encourage children to play as much sport. You'll see a lot of it happening at Chennai. It's a bigger campus. There's lots happening. I made it short.
Thank you, Colonel Gopal.